Welcome back to our video series, Coaching During COVID. I'm joined here today with Xander Centenary, head coach of the men's tennis team. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
This year has been a bit different, to say the least. How have you and the team adapted and tried to turn 2 canceled seasons into some positives?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, credit to the team, to these guys. I think we had probably a few different phases through the year where, depending on where people were at, we had different activities that sort of helped us make the best of a tough situation. I think early on in this pandemic, we were just trying to stay connected as everyone went home, and we had Zoom calls, and we're staying connected via group message. When we realized that it was likely that we weren't going to be back all together for a while, we started thinking about how to continue to build and make progress remotely. And so we had a pretty significant phase of some sort of team culture building things. And we actually all watched a sport documentary series together, and would get together to discuss. And then finally, January was sort of a big milestone for us because we finally had a number of our players back on campus and were able to do some things in person. And I think that having the year that we had, it certainly gave us some perspective and some things that we took for granted before we were no longer taking for granted. So we certainly maximized all the time that we had together this winter. And I think looking ahead to the spring, we'll do the same.
Speaking of, with some of the team back on campus for the spring term, what are practices going to look like?
I think they'll look very similar to the winter. I think very likely we'll have a sort of phased in approach and make sure that everyone is physically healthy and is able to meet the demands of practice before we really sort of hit the ground running. But we're trying to maximize as best we can every practice and every moment that we have together, and as well, as we're always looking to build. But I think the newfound aspect of having the opportunity to be together and to sort of have a bit of time to connect for the guys and just see each other and spend some time with each other has been super positive as well in the winter. So I'm looking forward to that for the guys in the spring as well.
During the last year, what has made you most proud to be associated with this team?
I'd have to say the resilience of our team. I mean, I think, in spite of all the challenges that we've had in the last year and all of the changes and the adapting that everyone has had to do, I keep coming back to the ability for our guys to understand and to adapt and move forward with every change that has been thrown their way. And so that's just been incredibly impressive to me and just speaks to, the type of people and the high level character that we have on this team. So all credit to them for that.
One more important question. How have you been doing during this time?
Yeah, I've been doing just fine. I mean, certainly, with all the challenges that the world is facing, I still feel quite lucky to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to coach, even if it's been in a somewhat limited capacity in the last year or so. And again, we talk a lot about perspective within the group, and sometimes I have to remind myself the same thing. But certainly if you have the right perspective, we're doing all right. And so, I think I've been, as I said, lucky to be in this position, and we're, the great part about being on a team is, you have a group of people who are sort of, going through some similar things together. And because our team is so tight and so strong, we've been doing just fine.
Okay, Coach, thanks for joining me today, and good luck as you get back to practices.
Thanks very much.